Hey guys, I'm Jay, and today's knife is a Kit Carson design and is considered to be the first production folder with a flipper tab. All of the specs that you're currently looking at are measurements that I had personally taken myself. So, those interested, pause and read. This is the CRKT M16-03S, and as usual, we'll get into what I like about this knife, then we'll talk about some of the potential deal breakers. First, we got to do the size comparisons. How's about we start out with Spyderco and the Endura 4, Paramilitary 2, Benchmade 940, the Mini Crooked River, Zero Tolerance, the ZT 0562, Kaiser Beglighter, and we'll finish up this section with a Cold Steel and the Mini Recon 1. Beginning with the blade, you are looking at 3.5-inch spear point in AUS 8 blade steel with a hollow grind and a bead blast finish. At the thickest point, the blade is 3 millimeters and 0.87 inches wide, so from the spine of the blade to the sharpened edge. CRKT was nice enough to give us a little sharpening choil, which is executed very well. The blade is riding on its Teflon washers. Deployment is accomplished with either the flipper tab, if you use the push button method, works best here, or you can do it with the thumb studs. Now, I gotta warn you, it's not easy to deploy it with the thumb studs, but it is possible, as you can see. Action is excellent. Very, very smooth, which makes this knife very flickable and fidget friendly. Now, for closing, this is not really a drop shutty type of knife, so you just need to know that going in. Now, part of the reason that it's a little difficult for me to deploy this with the thumb studs is because of that detent. Yeah, it is ridiculously strong, so I'm unable to shake the blade loose. Once open, the liner it's locking up at about 80%. Yeah, pretty darn late. The thumb studs, if you'll notice, they actually pull double duty and they add stability once the blade is deployed, much like the ZT 0562. This model of the M16, it uses a secondary lock, which is called the locking liner safety. And really all it is there's a lever here, and it puts like a pin when you push the lever forward between the locking liner and the frame. And it's operated completely, as you can see, manually. There are some versions of the M16 that use an automatic lock. It's called the automated liner safety, and it operates exactly the same way, except the lock automatically engages once that blade is deployed. So a good way to tell if it features that automatic lock or not, if the lever here has a red dot painted on it, that means it automatically engages every time you deploy the blade. If it's not there, then it's a manual safety. Now I wanted to go ahead and zoom in just to show you the centering here. You can see, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's not terrible. I mean, at least it's not rubbing on the scale at all, but you can see, yeah, it is off just a little in that direction. There are a total of four areas of jimping. The first one is going to be right there on the flipper tab. Also, there is a little bit of jimping on that safety lock lever, and you can see here on the blade spine. And the last spot is going to be, yep, right there on the liner lock. Now, did you notice here there's some texturing on the face of these thumb studs? A nice little attention to detail is that you see that pivot screw? Yeah, it has the same exact texturing. Nice. Now, these handle scales, they are made from aluminum, and they're 4.65 inches in length. So there is just plenty of room for my medium-sized hand. There's no sharp edges anywhere, so very comfortable grip. Traction is pretty good on this aluminum. I mean, really, that flipper tab, it's large enough where it's going to prevent your hand from slipping forward anyway. For disassembly, there's just going to be the two Torx body screws, and then again referring back to the pivot, which takes a flathead. And the way that this knife is designed, you can see you do not have to remove the pocket clip for disassembly. I always appreciate that. I don't know if you happen to notice this, but this is not the clip that comes installed on the M16. It's actually going to be this. So it's the stock clip is really not deep carry, so that's why I had to get that off immediately. And I found I had an extra Benchmade clip that fits perfectly. And you want to know something else? This is a 4-position clip. Yep, it's going to be tip up, tip down for righties, tip up, tip down, hallelujah for lefties. And get this, the closed width, it's under an inch. Yeah, 0.96 across. And the handle thickness, exactly at that half-inch threshold. Yep, 0.50. Before this goes up on the scale, I just wanted to show you that, yes, it is all pretty much open construction with just the two barrel spacers, and of course, the handle scales are skeletonized to help reduce the weight. Let's see how they did. They did very, very good. 3.4 ounces, which is going to be roughly the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 4 AA batteries or 1 Spyderco Endura 4. Now, I have already reviewed this knife, so if at the end of the video you look up to the corner, you can click on the icon and watch my full review on this Spyderco Endura 4. Oh, hey, do me a favor. Go ahead, click on that subscribe button if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Before we get to the potential deal breakers, there's just a question that I would like to ask you. And what I need to know is, which CRKT M16 do you own? And does it feature the automatic safety lock or the manual? Let me know. Comment section below. Potential deal breaker number 1. I'm going to start with the blade finish. And yeah, that bead blast. I know many of you are just not fans of the bead blast finish. Next one is going to be, well, since this features just a standard liner lock, what it does is it creates a lack of symmetry. So if you notice here on this side, it's thicker because of that liner than it is on the other. Now, this also affects the positioning of the thumb studs. So if you can see here on the show side that it is flush with the scales. Okay, flip this over. Yep, it ceases to be flush. So it makes that thumb stud that I would use as a left-handed individual, it makes it appear a heck of a lot shorter, and that's why I had trouble deploying it with that thumb stud. Much harder for a lefty because of this than it would be for a right-handed individual. Potential deal breaker number 3 is going to be, well, the blade steel. I get it, you know, Aus-8 steel is really not all that exciting, but you know what? Look at it this way. It could be a heck of a lot worse. At least they went with that and not just like 8CR or something. And the last potential deal breaker is going to be that safety. Now, at least on this model, it does not engage automatically, but still, I know many of you just do not like having that backup safety on the knife. But really, you could just, I don't know, not use it. So where does that leave us with the M16-03S? Let's talk about that. Well, you can pick up one of these for yourself, this specific model, for $55. Now, if you're not in love with the spear point, CRKT also does offer a Tanto blade shape with a few different handle materials like stainless steel, Zytel, G10. Actually, that might be all of them right there. And this knife, now it was again designed by the late Kit Carson. It has been around for quite a while, and it's considered to be a CRKT Classic. And so what got me to finally do a review on this knife was that I saw an article on Knife News. They did a poll on the top 25 indispensable knives. So knives that you would never ever want to see discontinued. This CRKT M16 was number 12. Now, I had never owned one, and I thought, what is the big deal about this knife? You know what? I get it. Now that I was able to get it in my hands, I understand. Because the lockup is rock friggin' solid. It's lightweight. It's very affordable at $55. The handle can accommodate all different kinds of grips and hand sizes. It has a 4-position pocket clip. On top of all that, look at it. I mean, it is just damn good looking.